the resurrection of Jesus Christ. If Christ be not raised from the dead, then our faith is in vain. And I ended the last session by pointing out some of the situations that the tomb was empty, that it's an historical fact that the tomb was empty. That's not the issue. The issue is, how did the tomb become empty? And to me, there's two explanations of the tomb being empty. Either it was natural means or supernatural. And you know what I found? When I exhausted all the natural means that none of them to be true, then one of the logical conclusions, it had to be supernatural, which fit all the facts of the case. Now, what really convinced the followers of Christ of the resurrection was not the empty tomb, but rather his appearances. You say, what? That's right. His appearances and walking with them, like the Luke wrote in Acts, that for 40 days after the resurrection, the disciples, the apostles, his followers lived with him, ate with him for 40 days, and it says, with many convincing proofs. It was the resurrection appearances that convinced him that Christ was raised from the dead and that it was supernatural means. Now, it points out, Paul does, and this was written within 30 years of the time of Christ. He said, look, Jesus appeared to over 500 people at one time. And he said, many of them are still alive today who can confirm it. Now let me tell you, if Christ had not appeared to those 500 people, any critic in the audience could immediately have silenced Paul by saying, show me just one of those 500 people that saw him at one time after his death and burial, when you claim that he was resurrected. And Paul said, look, the majority of them are alive right now. Go ask them. As I travel all over the world, I will have professors and students say to me that all the appearances of Christ to so many people at different times were merely hallucinations. Now, some of the rules of hallucination is they only occur with people with certain type of emotional and mental makeup. Second, no two people have the same hallucination. You say, what? That's right. No two people have the exact same hallucination. Why? Because there is no external objective reference point. It's all internal and subjective. As a result, every subjective manifestation of appearance has to be different with each individual. No one who takes time to examine the evidence would ever conclude that they were hallucinations. And besides, if they were hallucinations, then the body of Jesus would still be in the tomb. If it were hallucinations, then all you'd have to do, and the Jewish leaders weren't dumb, is take the body of Christ, put it on a cart, and pull it through the Jerusalem, and you would have destroyed Christianity in the grave. It's an historical statement. And on the third day, he was raised from the dead.